I believe when you are blessed, it makes it an obligation to give back. Proud to say we have been able to help, I think, more than 120 children in the tsunami project where we built 39 new homes and a Buddha statue, and then later I built a community center. But this is part of life's journey. We help each other uh, while we walk the journey of life. To give back to the country that I was born, that I lived, and which is where my foundation lies. And my goal would be to open up avenues in Japan, Buddhism, and by propagating Buddhism to help people's lives.
My name is Keshini Vijay Gunaratna, the Director of Project Management and Public Relations for the Sri Lanka Foundation. And I also have here Chamod Amarasinghe, the Media Director of the Sri Lanka Foundation International. Today, I have the honor of speaking with His Excellency Ambassador Sanjiv Gunasekara, who is from our very own Los Angeles community, who will be leaving us very shortly on a very important journey to accept duties to serve a diplomatic position as the ambassador of Sri Lanka to Japan. I also have to mention Ambassador Sanjiv Gunasekara won the Sri Lanka Foundation Sri American of the Year Award in 2008. Are you going, Ambassador?
Hi, Boan. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Ambassador, for taking the time from your very busy schedule to speak with us today. And I'm going to get on with the questions. I know you have a very busy schedule. His Excellency Ambassador Sanjeev, I've known you and your family for many years. But this video will be recorded and published worldwide. So can you please talk about your family in detail so when people watch this video, we'll get to know you better, Ambassador?
I've been married for now almost 31 years. I have two daughters. My elder daughter is married, got married last year, and my younger daughter just graduated last year and working in Sacramento. So that's my small family, and my mother-in-law lives with us, and my father is in Sri Lanka, and that's my immediate family.
Thank you, Ambassador. I also want to know about your professional achievements. I know you're a very humble person. You don't want to talk about all that you have accomplished and achieved. The little that I know you attended Royal College with some special accomplishments there in sports and education. You obtained your Bachelor of Arts degree in Beloit College in Wisconsin. Then you achieved your MBA in California State University. You have accomplished a lot, Ambassador. Can you give us more details?
Well, while I obtained my MBA while working full time, and I worked in the private sector for about 14 years. Started as a entry-level staff accountant, and the last three positions I held was as CFO. And the last two companies were turnaround operations, and the last company started as a CFO, ended up being the CEO, turned around that company that was almost ready to shut down, close doors after 8 years in business. When I left, they had the best 2 years in their history. And then it was in 2002, I went on my own. And since then, I've been into real estate development and also preschool operations, which is really my wife's business that I have got more and more involved.
Your Excellency, you've been volunteering your time in many large projects in our community that has made a huge impact in certain organizations and temples. And also you have personally helped people to better themselves financially, your support. I mean, I don't know, I don't have words to thank you. I want to tell the community, I know you're very humble, but you have to tell the community of all the projects you've done and what you hope to do in the future. Ambassador, so go ahead, give us some more details.
I believe when you are blessed, it makes it an obligation to give back. And over the years, me and my wife, we have been fortunate enough to have the opportunity through the Lanka Ram Buddhist Institute, and also we have a foundation in Sri Lanka, uh, Sanjiv and Gunasekara Foundation. Through that, we have been fortunate enough to be able to help the less fortunate. Proud to say we have been able to help, I think, more than 120 children in Sri Lanka on a medium to long term basis to go to middle school, to high school, and even university. And we have 4 doctors that we have sponsored from O levels, and many other professionals who have become productive uh, citizens to society. So those are, if not for our help, I think they wouldn't have been able to. It would have been very difficult. I would not have been able to get to where they are. So they are mostly single parent families, or no parents at all. And that's, I think, when I look back, very gratifying. And I get these letters once in a while, and I get to meet them once in a while. So it's very gratifying to be able to help not so fortunate individuals. Also, I've been fortunate to be involved with the founding of Lankarama Buddhist Institute, and with that, with our late priest, I was able to be involved and be a part of many projects in Sri Lanka, distributing eyeglasses to reconstructing temples, uh, and also I was involved. I was the lead in the tsunami project where we built 39 new homes and a Buddha statue. And then later I built a community center for this project in Indruwa. And we raised the money by ourselves in the US, and we completed the project in 163 days, which was the second project to finish during this devastated time. So there are many other projects which are, but these are the projects that come to my mind. But this is part of life's journey. We help each other while we walk the journey of life.
Thank you, Ambassador. Amazing, amazing work. And thank you so much for all that you have done for the community and all what you hope to do for the community. My next question, when you were appointed as the ambassador, how did you feel? What was your initial reaction, as you are very established in US? Actually, the community was kind of surprised. How did your family react, and what was your initial decision to accept the position?
Anytime a president of a country, they offer you a position of this importance and responsibility, it is always an honor and a privilege. And to work under the current president and to the country that gave me a free education, I thought it was the right time to give back. So I have many goals. Uh, as you said, I'm leaving lucrative business here, but business is not everything. And this is an opportunity and a privilege to give back to the country that I was born, that I lived, and which is where my foundation lies. And hopefully, with the confidence I have in the current president and the administration, I hope I can make a positive difference to Sri Lanka. And Japan has a very special relationship and a bond with Sri Lanka that dates back to 1952 and before. So that was the reason for accepting this position, and I hope I can serve the country well.
We have no doubt, Ambassador, you'll do a great job. And President Gotabaya, His Excellency, is very lucky to have you. And you'll see some of the messages that we are going to attach with this interview from the community. My next question, Japan is considered as one of the favored nations to Sri Lanka. Can you tell us more about it?
Yes, well, as I mentioned, in 1952, it was then in the League of Nations. There was no UN, a League of Nations, just after the World War II. The Western world had reservations, including or inviting Japan into the League of Nations. At that time, it was the then finance minister who represented Sri Lanka, and he made a very compassionate speech, which he ended by saying He translated a stanza from Buddhism that hatred by hatred never ceases, only by love. And with this speech, he changed the mood uh, of the League of Nations, not only accepted Japan into the League, but also had more favorable repatriation payments towards Japan. And Sri Lanka, at that time, their biggest industrial exports was rubber in the 1950s, and our rubber industry was devastated. But though it was, and though Sri Lanka was not a rich country, we did not accept repatriation monies as setting an example as to we want a country that is down to come up. And so this is a very special friendship that Sri Lanka and Japan enjoys. And knowing the Japanese people, they are very cultural and sensitive and very proud people who do not forget countries, people's help. So I think this relationship has continued, and it will be my responsibility to nurture this further and to improve on it.
Thank you, Ambassador, for sharing that information. Thank you so much. The next question is a very important question. I understand, Ambassador, the Light Rail project for the capital city of Colombo to ease the congestion that is on hold right now. Can you give us more details about that?
Yes, the light rail project was a pet project of the current president, as I understand, but it was in a different form. The current president was the person who initiated this project about 7 years ago. And at that time, it was supposed to be a monorail. And that was, at that time, the feasibility study showed the best project for Sri Lanka was a monorail project. But with the governments changing, it was changed to a light rail project. And now, with the government changing, with the previous government, 7 years ago, the Rajapaksa government built a lot of infrastructure. We know freeways were built. We know the harbor, Hambantota harbor was built. We know the airport was built. And we know, I don't know if you know, but another thing was another very important part was the North Harbor in Colombo. The North Harbor in Colombo was built. But though these were built, there were business plans to make this work, but the government changed. So with the government changing, there was no business plan implemented, and none of these projects was taken forward to make it an income viable project. The country has a debt issue. So because the country has a debt issue where, and especially now, with one of our major foreign exchange earners, the tourism, with the COVID situation being down to zero, and our foreign employment earnings getting drastically reduced, and also our exports being reduced, there's a foreign exchange shortage, and as a result, ability to pay our debts are getting harder. So as a result, there has been a policy decision that has been taken that we don't want to borrow on commercial ventures. We rather get private investment, private conglomerates to join us, join the current government. So that is called the BOOT. BOOT stands for, so the new concept is for the commercial viable mega projects, BOOT is build, own, operate, and transfer. Build, own, operate, and transfer is our new philosophy. So with that, it was put on hold, not for the government not to borrow, but instead to get a private conglomerate from Japan. And the Sri Lanka government's equity being land. We will offer land to develop and to get a private conglomerate to build not only the light rail project, but any other mega projects that are coming up. Like the Eastern Terminal also has been changed to a BOOT concept, where India and Japan is investing rather than the Sri Lankan government taking on loans. So that's why it was changed. But it has been changed, but hopefully we'll be able to get a private conglomerate to continue this project.
Ambassador, if you don't mind me asking, just to add to it, so are you directly going to be overseeing this project?
I'm going to be directly involved in trying to get a conglomerate together, a private conglomerate together, to try to facilitate a conglomerate. Already it's in the process, but there's a lot more work to be done. These are mega projects. So there are so many things, so many items that have had to be lined up, but it is already in the works. I will be a key part of trying to get a conglomerate to agree to fund this project and to bring them to Sri Lanka successfully.
That's amazing, Ambassador. Thank you so much for sharing that. Your Excellency, if you wish to share your initial plan of action to connect with the people and other important diplomats across the world, can you share a little bit about your plan that you have in mind?
Well, I think that currently with Sri Lanka situation, we need, as I said earlier, with what has happened with the COVID-19 situation worldwide, Sri Lanka needs foreign exchange. With that, also Japan. Japan is an aging country. Actually, the last 3 years, their population has been shrinking. So it's about 60% of the population is over 60. There's a necessity and a big demand for caregivers, and even for semi-skilled workers. So Japan is considered now within Sri Lanka one of the key countries to redirect our foreign employment. So I'll be spending a lot of time trying to facilitate this. It has been getting done training. There has been a big push and a lot of resources being spent currently to train Sri Lankans in Japanese language so that they are Japanese proficient. And my goal would be to open up avenues in Japan to bring as many Sri Lankans possible to help in the Japanese economy to work in Japan. So that's one of my goals. Also, in addition to getting conglomerates to be interested in Sri Lanka in some of the mega projects, also small and medium-sized companies to get interested in Sri Lanka to come and invest. We need foreign direct investment in Sri Lanka. So this is to convince them that we had the correct environment and the correct administration, and to try to work to bring them down to Sri Lanka would be another objective. Also tourism. When tourism opens up, especially in Japan, cultural tourism and wellness tourism, I think are two areas we can key on without just generally saying tourism, and try to connect them, facilitate to connect hoteliers, tour operators with tour operators and travel agents in Japan, so we can increase our tourism from Japan to Sri Lanka. So those are items that I look forward to working on among helping our exporters, tea exporters. There are other. We have identified now the Export Development Board, the BOI, to collectively they have identified certain export items per country. So there are about 10 or 12 preferred items that we have advantage, comparative advantage. Sri Lanka has a comparative advantage to export. So I hope to connect and facilitate those exporters with buyers in Japan.
Thank you, Ambassador. Now I have the most challenging question. What would be your responsibility to control pandemic among the Sri Lankan community in Japan you represent? And how would you work with the disease control authorities?
I think living in the US and going to Japan, there's a lot we can learn. Number one is try to educate the Sri Lankan diaspora the pros and cons of what they need to do, what they can do and what they cannot do, and to educate them about the COVID-19 and how they can be safe. Hopefully, Japan's COVID-19 situation is very much under control, and we need to learn their guidelines is very strict and stringent, and educate our diaspora of those guidelines and set an example where we start with the embassy to adhere to the strictest guidelines that have been put in place in Japan. And at the same time, try to keep doing the business we can in new and innovative ways. Just like we are getting used to having interviews through Zoom, which we were not a couple of years ago. So there are many things that we can get done through innovative ways. Some of them, it has to be done the old school type, but again, it can be done in different ways where we have minimal contact, but get the job done.
Ambassador, many people have sent you well wishes, just like I mentioned to you before, and we'll attach them to the end of the video. Thank you very much for giving us the time to conduct this interview, Ambassador. We want to wish you all the very best, and please keep us informed of all your future developments in Japan. We would love to publish on our website and also inform the community of what things you're going to be doing. I know everybody is waiting to see this video, and I already received many well-wishing wishes for you and wishing you good luck. Do you have a special message for all of us in our community, Ambassador?
Well, what I can say is, as I leave in a couple of weeks to Japan, I will do my utmost within my power to do the best I can for Sri Lanka. And that's the only goal I have, is to make a difference, make a mark and make a difference to Sri Lanka in these times that are challenging. And for everybody who has called me, there are many people who have called me, send me texts, send me emails, and as you just mentioned, people who might have who have wished me well. Thank you very much. Actually, I've been humbled for the amount of good wishes I have received. So thank you, everybody. Some of them I haven't been able to thank them personally, but thank you very much. And if there's anything me or the Sri Lankan Embassy in Japan can do, I'll be glad to help.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you so much, and Ayubowan.
Thank you.
ජපානයේ අභිනව තානාපති ධුරයෙන් විදුන් ලබන ඇමරිකාවේ ලොස් ඇන්ජලිස් නුවර ලංකාරාම විහාරස්ථානයේ ගරු දායක සභාවේ සභාපති සංජීව ගුණසේකර මහත්මයාට විහාරස්ථානයේ මහා සංඝරත්නය වෙනුවෙන් ඒ වගේම ඉන්දියානු බෞද්ධ විහාරස්ථානය වෙනුවෙන් කෝට්ටේ ඓතිහාසික රාජමහා විහාරස්ථානයේ මාගේ ගුරු දේවෝත්තම අනුරුද්ධ නායක හාමුදුරුවෝ ඇතුළු මහා සංඝරත්නය සහ සියලුම සදහවතුන්ගේ ආශිර්වාදය මා පළමුව ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. සංජීව ගුණසේකර මහත්මයා අභිනව තානාපතිතුමා ජාතියට ආගමට විශේෂයෙන්ම ඔබත් මගේ මාතෘ භූමියට විශාල සේවාවක් සිදු කරන්න පුළුවන් දක්ෂ ඒ වගේම හොඳ වැඩක් කරන්න පුළුවන් මහත්මයෙක් හැටියට අපි දන්නා හඳුන්වන බවත් එතුමාට පුංචි ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට මාතෘ භූමියට විශාල සේවාවක් සිදු කිරීමට තුනුරුවන්ගේ ආශිර්වාදයෙන් මානසික නිරෝගීතාවය කායික නිරෝගීතාවය ජීවා කියලා මා හදවතින්ම සාදු කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා.
On behalf of the Abbot Venerable Thalangama Devananda Nayaka Thero and the resident monks Venerable Nagita, Venerable Rakita, Dhammaratana of Lankarama Buddhist Institute, La Ponte, California, and also Lankarama Buddhist Institute Management Committee, all the Dayaka Sabha, I would like to first of all congratulate our newly appointed Sri Lankan ambassador to Japan, Mr. Sanjiv Gunasekara. He is also the president of Dayaka Sabha of Lankarama Temple. So it's a very special occasion to all of us at the Lankarama Buddhist Institute, and he has been doing a tremendous job to uplift the condition of this temple for the well-being and happiness and benefit of all the community members of Lankarama. And on this very special occasion, we the Mahasangha would like to convey our blessings and greetings to Mr. Sanjiv Gunasekara. Hope he can do the same for the betterment, well-being and happiness of all Sri Lankans in Japan and in Sri Lanka. And may he be able to consolidate the beautiful relationship between Sri Lanka and Japan. May he be well, happy and healthy. Theruvan Saranai.
Your Excellency Sanjiv Gunasekara, I'm Shirani Stanislaus from Sri Lanka Foundation International. As you enter this new chapter of your life as the ambassador to Japan, Allow me to congratulate you warmly, both on my behalf and on behalf of Sri Lanka Foundation International. You have worked hard to reach this point, and we are happy that you have been recognized for your accomplishments with this new appointment. It is well deserved. You have been a supporter of our foundation throughout the years. With your experience and organizational skills, you will be an asset not only to the Sri Lankan community but to our nation as well. Again, I wish you all the blessings in this new term of office. Good luck and best wishes.
Sanjiv and Manil, Shanti and I want to wish you both a wonderful time in the land of the cherry blossoms. Sanjiv, I wish you every success as the next ambassador of Sri Lanka to Japan. It will be a great loss to the community, but I know you will do much from Japan to help the economy of Sri Lanka revive once again. And with your diplomatic ancestry of your mother being in the international diplomatic milieu and your grandmother being the first ever lady ambassador from Sri Lanka, I know when your tenure is finished, you will be declared as the most successful ambassador ever from Sri Lanka to Japan. Good luck.
Hi Sanjiv, we are wishing you very best and lots of success to your new role as a Sri Lankan ambassador to Japan. Your contribution, your support here in Southern California to our Sri Lankan community is priceless. With your vast knowledge and skills as a businessman and a leader, you will succeed in your next endeavor. We wish you very best and good luck. God bless you.
රට ජාති ආගම ගැන කවදත් හිතන ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයෙන් වෙසෙන ලොස් ඇන්ජලිස් පුරවරයෙන් තවත් සොඳුරු මිනිසෙක් සංජීව ගුණසේකර මහතා ජපාන් තානාපති ලෙස දූත මෙහෙවරේ යන මේ ගමනට මගේ උණුසුම් සුබ පැතුම්. මිනිසාට සේවය කිරීම මිනිසාගේ පරම යුතුකම කියන වචනයට නියම අර්ථයක් ඔබ දෙන බව මට විශ්වාසයි. ඔබට ජය. තෙරුවන් සරණයි.